Alright, round 3. Fight. Yep, still want to play first. Yep, still think this is a fine keep. It is awkward to go get black mana when that's the most common thing in the deck. So like drawing a swamp isn't a colossal problem here. But if we don't draw it, we kind of have to go get it. I could delay a turn, but that guy just doesn't do anything here. I'm going to get a swamp and toss a swamp. Because I just want to get our bird going. We can curve bird into witch, into potentially gargoyle, then swine. And remember, any creatures we mill are actually good for our ever after. Milling a mountain would be a disaster. Until we draw a bob. Maybe it should just be 2 bobs in here. That's kind of a disaster. Not a huge disaster, but kind of a disaster. I mean, these are going to trade eventually anyway. They're getting out of discarding a card for it, but again, we want stuff in our graveyard, and as long as it doesn't hit ever after. I'd rather just have a 4/2 on the board. Sure, we can race it. Now that can't be blocked by a creature with greater power? Okay. So I have to discard a card anyway. And they've got a combat trick in hand, which is interesting. So we can waltz something back. That's pretty neat, but I think we're just getting our witch on. We've almost got Delirium for Home Slice, which would be good bacon. The Baconator. Like, I'd like for more stuff to die before we waltz, because getting back a crow is pretty sad. Sad crow. I think I should be playing 2 bobs. I've been pretty happy to draw one at every point that I have. Can't block, won't block. I guess the witch is sort of a nombo with our waltz. I don't really want to discard the land, but I'm not above shenanigans. I'm still going to play this dude, though, because we hit another land that starts to become relevant. It's funny that I can't block this guy with the Pack Guardian, but I think we're bringing the beats. We'll see how it ends up playing Oot. Meow. What's up, Dutch? Not a catastrophe. Alright, so we want the mountain. The question is, do I want to launch this guy in the air or just play a 6/6? And I think the answer is I just want to play a 6/6. Like, if he wants to take 8 here, I'm pretty comfortable with that. That puts us back ahead in the race, and we're about to land a 6/6. And if he wants to double block, sure, we'll trade it for the... I guess we'd probably trade it for the Geist at this point. Like, this guy's just a bear. If we can keep him where he has to block, then it's just a bear. What am I more worried about long term, though? Probably the militia captain. I think. Yeah, that's probably just what I need to do. Like, sure, he can swing back for more damage, but he's about to face down a 6/6. So we've got, like, potentially 14 power coming in next turn. Like, this guy's always scary. I still feel like they have a combat trick in their hand because of clicks made earlier. If we wanted to, we could always save the gargoyle for blocky shenanigans. Inner struggle on the piggy. So what do I want to do now? I can get back the piggy. I can block and transform the gargoyle and be considerably less scared. I can attack for 8 and then 8 again and make them block. They're going to need a combat trick to kill me. They're currently hitting for 5. Like, having the lifelink from this is pseudo-relevant. Are we just dead if they have like a waltz or a kill your tapped guy? Maybe they are. So like I don't hate blocking, transforming, and dealing with that. It kind of blows us out with combat tricks and such. I've probably locked myself into doing that, I think. Yeah, let's slow this down a little bit. Like, we're still hitting for 4. That's not irrelevant. If we can slow it down to taking 2 a turn, I think we can recover from that. Plus we've got like throttles in the deck and such. I don't want my life total to get too low against a red deck. That's just scary. Do you have a thing? You do not have a thing. All right. You have that thing. That's a big thing. That's a big thing that you have there. So we got a couple problems. I think we start dealing with them by waltzing back the gargoyle and the dire pig. Does that solve my issues? I probably need to do the gargoyle and the pack guardian, because I can cast the pack guardian and the gargoyle. So I think I need to do that. And I think we actually discard the aristocrat. Get an extra 2/2. God, that seems so weird, because it's like part of what our deck's trying to do, but it just doesn't do anything for me right now. I mean, the downside is we're going to take some extra damage from this, but if I hit a land, I can always play and flip the gargoyle to block it. He can't really attack with the necropod here, unless he's got that trick we've been worried about all game. But I'm not going to not play the card that does the thing. And it'll gain us some life, I guess. Don't have a thing. Stop having things. Throttle. Alright. I say alright. That's not good. Because we can't even cast our Ever After now. So I can play this and chump block that. That doesn't seem particularly good, but I can't really draw anything that does anything anyway. Because we're at 6, we've got to block that. If we're going to do that, I may as well play the Weirding Wood so that I could potentially draw my thing that does a thing. The Ever After. Like now that's a live draw for next turn after we double chump. It's still not good, but this is the world we live in. Like getting a Dire Swine and a Pack Guardian back in play would finally be enough to double block that. So we're not just drawing dead. Like if we hit that, we kill the Necropod, then we throttle the Geist, we're back to playing Magic. I think we should have been on the defensive a little sooner. But we're gonna need it now. That is not it. And that is probably getting sided out. But it can't block. It can't attack. So playing anything else is just showing our opponent cards. So we'll pass. Necropod is the real deal. We don't really have a great answer to it either if he can back it up with removal spells. So it looks like they're playing something that's relatively aggressive. Which is not usually how I go in sealed. But I mean, it can be a thing. It can certainly be a thing. So I'm not super impressed with the Bloodsworn. Again, I think I'd rather just have Bob. This may be the place where we make our mana worse and try to get a Purge in here. What would I have to cut? I'd have to cut a Swamp for a Stone Quarry. God, Travis, you're going super deep here. You may be going too deep. Like, Tooth Slaughter doesn't do anything. We can cut that. And then we add a Plains. And we probably have to cut another Swamp for that. Oh, not that. That. So it still gives 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 black sources for this deck. That's not enough. And I'm aware of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green sources. Like, we're really leaning hard on that Stoic Builder. I think if I'm going to do this, we cut this guy out for another fork. And just say, you know what? We're going to depend on fork plus Weirding Wood to fix us. We're going to have an answer for your Necropod. And everything else is not a problem. I kind of want to try this build out anyway. Let's give this a shot. 4-color greed. Go. Meh. It ain't beautiful, but sure. Maybe we get a shock to the face out of our Sanitarium skeleton. It has the combo of lands and spells I can play. I have a super greedy mana base because I'm a terrible person. Waiting for them to discard? Well, I guess if they keep a one-lander, that is one way for us to do it. Unless there's zero cost madness cards that I'm not aware of. That is definitely something you could say, and not really something I want showing on my screen while I'm recording a video. Stay classy, Magic Online. Stay classy. Well, there goes our Call the Bloodline. That is unfortunate. Oddly enough, we'd like to hit another forest. We've still got as many forests as we did in the original configuration, so that's not impossible that we hit one here. The Pale Rider. He rides in paleness. Bob Manley, getting back a forest. Bob, you're so good for everyone involved here. Like, everybody's happy to see Bob. Bob, 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 Bob. We could double block with the skeleton and Bob, but I mean the twins just kind of stops all that. So does Throttle. Like, we've got 2 5-mana ways to completely ignore this. And I think I'd rather do one of those things than throw away creatures. That just doesn't seem like it's going to be a good thing for us long term. Dutch, you are in the way of progress. There you go, buddy. I mean, if we hit another land, that changes a little bit. Not a lot of bit. I could throw that and swing in, but again, I don't super want to trade stuff for things. So I think we're just going to see if we can do some ambush shenanigans with the Pack Guardian and or Throttle. I'm not thinking we're going to ride a Crow to victory, but I am thinking we might be able to overwhelm our opponent. Now, I might be willing to throttle an Air of Falcon Wrath. So, like, we swing... Let's say we swing... Well, let's say we kill this and swing team. What do? They block this, discard a card. I'm kind of okay with that. I don't want to trade this guy off for that. I think we just swing here, let them discard their card, and then throttle it in response before they can block. Unless they want to take it, which is also fine. We can play the twins. We'll just get a big board. Okay, so that is their plan. That is plan we can handle. I think that means we throttle the Falcon guy next turn. Like, I don't care if they start pumping out ground dudes. We just need to be able to kill them in the air. Well, that changes things a little bit, doesn't it? I can at least make them sacrifice a creature to do it. Or discard a card to do it. Because, like, I don't think this thing matters. We're going to kill them in the air at this point. So I can send this in and make them trade that for it in a card, and then have them on a 5-turn clock, which is okay. I mean, it's a thing that does a thing in the place with the stuff. But I think I'm just going to do this and flip it into turn. Then we can decide if we want to attack with it or not. That may have been stupid to let this thing flip, because it will eventually outvalue us. We've got a lot of stuff on the ground now. But I feel like as soon as we attack on the ground, we give him a free 1/1 flyer, and we're kind of in trouble. Like, we're just committed to taking 3 from that for basically ever. I think. I mean, after this turn, we can start blocking it with the skeleton. Them having that life gain trick could be bad. I'm glad they discarded Avacyn's Judgment. They kind of have to trade this now, don't they? Discarding Grotesque Mutation? That's interesting. Maybe they've got 2? I mean, the chances of them not being able to answer this are still, I think, pretty low, but I don't really see what other choice I have here. Puncturing Light, you say? All right. Well, don't mill ever after. Instead, hit big creatures. There we go. Yeah, maybe I should have killed them, but then they'd have the Olivia in play, and I mean, that's just not going to be good for us either. Ever After still gets us out of this quite nicely. There's no point in him attacking now, like the 1/1 doesn't do much for our opponent. So we swing team, what happens? They eat our biggest thing, so they eat this. They trade with this. They trade with that. They do have to block with some tokens. So 4 of these die, that's a 3/3. So they could make a mistake. But I think we're probably better off drawing to outs, which are Ever After as well as the Burn to the Face spell. Because we've got it for exactly lethal here. That's gonna be a problem. But he may not even want to attack with it if we can just double block it with a witch and a skeleton. Or potentially gang block it, like this will put him on a clock too. I do want the witch dead. Thanks for giving us a clock, I guess? Like, I'm guessing they have some sort of life gain thing going on, but... I think we'd probably try to block it with some of our least valuable creatures here. Make them have a trick. Like, this board state still doesn't look so bad, and as long as it's not life gain, we're fine. Well, I guess it's life gain. So there's that. We could have played around that a little better by putting something else in front of it, but... that does take away one of our outs. I don't think I've played this game particularly well. I think I might have gotten a little eager when our opponent missed a land drop, thinking they kept a one lander. And I mean, you should just never count somebody out, because we're starting to put ourselves in a position where that Necropod is lethal. It's not yet, but it will be. Like, now I think we take the hit from it, because our plan may be to draw the Bernie thing and kill it. But getting lazy in the finals is a thing that I have been known to do before. Also, not killing that watch captain when I could have. I mean, I guess then we're sort of dead to the Olivia, but it's just dumb. I mean, I guess we kind of have to block stuff now, don't we? That gives us 5, 6, 7. And he's only killing 2 of the things. We'll still have blockers for his 1/1s. We can keep doing these loops. Like, he probably drew a trick. But if he didn't, I guess we're happy. Alright. We're still playing Magic. We're not playing a lot of Magic, but we're playing some Magic. Bitter Blossom without life loss and non-flying is a fair trade. Well, I'm going to have to go back and watch this one myself, because I wonder if I just killed this one, I had the opportunity. We probably could have raced the Olivia. I got a bit fixated on their life total, and by knowing that they'd already discarded 1 mutation. Yeah, just going for it now. Sure, buddy. Not going for it? Are going for it? Are not going for it? It's like, this block is easy. This block seems easy. This block seems easy. This block seems easy. Like, none of my stuff dies, theirs does. Okay. I don't like that I'm taking 5, but it seems better than the alternative. Alright, so we have some flying trouble, as well as some tokens trouble. But we can purge now. Which, I mean, I guess handles that, but then we take 3 and we're dead? If we... Okay, are we just dead anyway no matter what we do? Because let's say we purge this guy, and they swing team. We block 3 of their tokens, and we're just dead. So let's say we purge this guy. We block that. Token, token, token. Yeah, we're just dead. I definitely made a mistake, and I think underestimated how good this card is. I mean, I don't think it really matters, but sure. Because we're going to 7, and they've got a bunch of tokens, and they're going to kill us with them. Yeah, like I said, I have been known to get lazy in the finals, especially when an opponent makes a mistake. And I think that's what got me here. So I think that's one of those places where you've got to pay attention winning or losing and make sure that you're still making the right plays. I, for one, am going to go back and watch this and see if I had killed that captain, militia captain, whatever he is, a little earlier, what might have changed. Because we had him in a scenario there for a little while where we could have drawn the fireball to kill him or reanimated our flyers to kill him. It doesn't look like any of that was coming, which doesn't necessarily matter. I mean, the deck would have been shuffled here. I think getting the witch going when we did was the right idea. But I'm wondering what happens if instead of deciding to try to kill him in the air quickly, we decide to play a long game. We might just get screwed to that Necropod, and the mistake may have been when we blocked the Necropod, not just tossing something else in front of it too to play around another life gain spell. Because I'm sitting there saying that's the only thing that gets me, and then intentionally choose not to play around it. I just got a little lazy. Either way, I think we built the best deck we could with the pool that we had. I definitely appreciate you guys and gals tuning in. Do come check out the stream. It's at twitch.tv/Simulan, and I will see you back on Monday for some more Magic action. Have a good one, my friends.